What is going on, you guys? Hope you're having a great day. Today this video is just pure for fun, not educational in any way, shape, or form. But I just thought this was kind of cool. I use this platform called Crypto Compare. It tracks cryptocurrencies. I made a totally different video which kind of went into detail about how you can track your own portfolio. And one of the main reasons why I like it is just because of this graph right here. It shows you where you stand as far as visually from your portfolio standpoint, instead of you having to go through and kind of add everything up. But a couple months back, in early October, about October 11th, almost to be exact, I had a friend come to me and they were like, "Hey, I want to throw some money into the market. What should I do?" So I was like, "Well, again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not their financial advisor either, nor yours." And I was like, well, if I had $5,000, like here are different ones here are different coins that I kind of like, and this is how I'd play it maybe, or try different things. And I decided, well, instead of giving them one option, I was like, it'd be kind of cool to say, if I made multiple like fake portfolios. So that's what I did up here. As you can see, I just made all these different portfolios. I was like, well, I'm going to make one that I consider like a safe bet, one just in Bitcoin, just alone, just for fun. One, a medium risky bet, a risky, like the most risky, if you will, because it's the highest gain, high reward, but the riskiest, so to speak. And then I also did one that was the top 5 coins at that time frame. And it was just kind of cool to see because their time frame, they said, well, we want to put in like $5,000 and just let it sit. Like, don't trade, don't swing trade, don't day trade. Just let it sit for the next, 6 months. I think it was 6 months time frame, somewhere in there. And like what coins would you look at? So again, you have to understand, like, a lot of my, studies or reviews of coins, or like research on coins per se, has changed since October because I've gotten a lot more involved in the crypto. So maybe I would have changed some of the coins I would have picked back then if I would have known what I know now. But this is what I picked back in October. So it's just kind of cool to see. So everything was a $5,000 acquisition cost at the beginning, because that's what they told me, like, hey, this is what we are willing to spend. And if you look down here, so this is what I at the time had considered a safe bet. I said, okay, so we're going to hedge most of it. October 11th is when we plugged in. I was like, we're going to hedge most of your risk, $3,000 in Bitcoin. And so that's kind of what I did, for all the portfolio options. I was like, I'm going to put $3,000 in Bitcoin just in case. And then we put in 500, 500, 500, and 500 in each one of these. So OMG, Litecoin, Dash, and Ethereum. And then, again, obviously everything fluctuates and changes. So at the highest peak, it claims, according to this, that the portfolio, if you would have put in $5,000 October 11th, at the highest peak, you would have made almost 3 times what you put in, almost up to $15,000. That would have been around January 20th. As of today, which is February 18th, it's about $12,000. So there's a $2,000 delta. At the worst time, I guess it had almost gone down to its initial level of investment, which would have been February 5th. So not that long, 2 weeks ago about. But I always just found it interesting in each one of these portfolios that, some of the coins, so Litecoin actually performed the best, or as of today, it's the best performing out of all of these investments if you would have thrown in your money into each one of these investments. And number 2 would have been Ethereum. Let's see, I guess third would have been Dash, Bitcoin fourth, and then OMG would have been the worst investment if you would have done this safe bet, so to speak. So then if you would have just invested in a Bitcoin, again, the dates are the same, October 11th, you would have had 120% change, and your $5,000 would have turned into an $11,000 in total, so a $6,000 profit. So again, these are kind of fun to do, just because it's fun to see, like, what if. I like to play the what if game. I guess on the flip side, that would be painful sometime. But medium test, I picked. Let's see, what did I pick? So I picked Bitcoin again for a $3,000 hedge. I picked OMG. 10x apparently was a loser on this particular, and again, this is just fun stuff. It's only 10% down, so you really didn't lose that much. $50, it's not the end of the world. I picked ARK, and Neo. So Neo apparently did the best on this particular one. It's a great return on that one, because they would have roughly been getting in around $30 on Neo in there. So here's the other thing you have to take in consideration. When they came to me, they're like, hey, what is something, like it's a 6-month time frame. So you're looking at, let's see, October, November, December, January, February, March-ish, maybe April. So, I mean, there's still time to go. And I would like to do like a follow-up video. And again, this is just for fun, but a follow-up video to see which one actually would have done the best between these, fake portfolios. And, did I really pick a safe bet? Was that truly the safe one, and was that truly the medium one? And let me show you the risky bet here. So the risky bet actually would have done better than the safe and medium, but by definition, that's kind of what that is, right? Like, it's either sink or swim concepts. Like, you're either going to make a decent amount or lose a decent amount. At one point, this was almost $30,000. If you would have put in $5,000, it would have almost been 6 times the amount. So, by the way, for all those haters on me when it comes to Chainlink and the FUD, I actually picked Chainlink in this risky bet. This was back on October 11th. I picked Chainlink to put in here because I believed in Chainlink. Like, I was telling my friends, this is where I would have put my own money. So I'm not that bad on Chainlink, guys. Like, it is what it is. Here's proof right here. But anyways, so at the time I was like, listen, these coins, they could go through the roof, or you could just lose everything. And this was the riskier bet. Again, I always hedge the 3K in a Bitcoin, $500, $500, $500, $500. And it turns out that this one had actually done, it did pretty well. At the best, Verge obviously did extremely well. But if you look at the price that we got in at on this date, that's the reason why, you have such a crazy multiplier on this. But at the time, I had been following Verge for a while. And even though I know a lot of people had issues with Wraith Protocol and, whatever you call the vaporware and stuff like that, at the time I was like, well, it's a risky bet, but it could go somewhere. So if it does, here it is. So Substratum, so this one definitely won. Substratum was number 2, almost at 400%. Then you have Walton Chain, Bitcoin, and then Chainlink has been, it's got a lot higher than this at one point. So this is the lowest, but still, I mean, it's all green. All green. You can't argue with that. And then I did one more just for fun, just for my own sake. I picked the top 5 coins at that moment. I think I made a mistake on this date here because October 11th was everything else, and October 1st is what I have here, but I think that was my own typo error. But it's really interesting to see. So this one here is at 18,000 in total. The risky bet one was at 19,000, so they're almost identical. The risky bet still would have won out, but I mean, that's, again, this one got up to 23K at one point and as low as about 11K, roughly about 11K. So, I mean, you really didn't lose that much. But so Bitcoin did the worst. Ripple has done the best so far. Then you have Litecoin, then Bitcoin Cash, and Ethereum. And again, the way this was based off of was at that time, whatever date that was, and I want to say October 11th, not 1st. I picked the top 5 at that time and just said, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so basically I put $1,000. This one was different. This one was 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000 in each one. What would have happened? And I just do this too because, granted, you could, if we would have looked back at this time frame, so when everything was on a tank, even at that time frame, let's see. So this one you would have doubled your money. This one you would have basically doubled your money. This one here, you would have made maybe $1,300 at the, if you would have sold at the worst. $1,600 at the worst, and then about, $2,300 at the worst. So even at the worst time frame in what we've seen almost in the cryptocurrency market in the last, year, maybe not that, but, in the recent time frame, all of these portfolios would have actually made you profit. Now, I'm not saying follow me because I can pick the right coins at the right times. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, people come to me all the time and they're like, hey, should I get in the crypto market? Should I not? And I always tell them the same thing. A, again, I'm not a financial advisor. B, don't invest in anything that you can't afford to lose. C, it's like Vegas 2.0. I think it's so early that I just don't even know what's going to work or what isn't going to work. and you know, it's a massive gamble. You know, you just don't know what's going to happen. I still personally believe that the crypto market is still in the infant stage, but it's just fun to show people like, hey, you know, like, yeah, like there is money to be made in here. This is proof that there's money to be made in this market, at least for right now. And even at the worst like time frame in the last, you know, couple of months, there's still money to be made in this market if you get in at quality times. If you would have gotten in at, you know, the highs, then yeah, you might be negative now. So this was just kind of a fun video. I'll probably come up with a follow-up video on this. I'm going to say, you know, maybe end of March-ish, because that would be the end of the time frame is which my friends, you know, came to me and were like, hey, that's when I want to hold it till that time frame, see what happens. And so I would just suggest you guys, like, for fun, just go do this, you know, like find coins you'd be interested in, throw it into this system, and just, you know, see what happens. And it's just for nothing else, just for fun, just to see. And to me, it kind of opened up my eyes too. Like I was thought, wow, like that's pretty cool that the top 5 all did extremely well, like extremely well returns in the last couple of months. So it's kind of cool. Anyways, if you guys like this video, just let me know. I just thought it was kind of fun to do something different than my normal videos. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Give me a thumbs down if you disliked it. And please give me comments back so I know what type of videos you guys like for moving forward. All right, thanks, guys.